What's up, LA Live Gang? This is your boy AC, and I'm back with episode number 3 of the State of the Lakers.
What's up, LA Live Gang? This is your boy AC.
We gotta
episode number 3.
We got to echo. Somebody, we got to echo.
It's an echo. This is your boy AC. Episode number 3. We got to echo. Somebody, we got to echo. What's up, echo? This is your boy AC.
So then we good now?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep, that's better.
Cool, perfect. So we'll start over. What's up, everybody? It's your boy AC, and I'm back with episode number 3, the State of the Lakers. I'm very happy to have 2 special guests. This time, not one, but 2 special guests. Of course, I got my main man, LOE, Lakers Over Everything, my special co-host. And today, we're honored, we're happy, really excited to have 2 great YouTubers in the building today. 2 guys that are doing great Laker content, great NBA content. And the left-hand side, we got my main man, Kareem, of the Kareem Report. Kareem, what's going on, my brother?
It's good, bro. How you? Everything good?
Everything great, brother. You showed up, so everything's perfect. Perfect. Everybody's here on time, perfect. And down in the corner, man, we got my man Jackson Wilkie, the NBA white guy. What's going on, Jackson?
Not much, man. Ready to get this Laker talk going.
That's right. That's right. We got let's see, we got some people in the building. Let's get the likes up. Yeah, Jackson, man, your channel's relatively new. I know you're not new to YouTube, but man, you kind of taking YouTube by storm, bro. What's the secret sauce behind that?
So actually, the secret sauce, one of it is finding, titles and stuff people click on. But what I've found over anything is just building a character. So I think, honestly, being the NBA white guy, it's like a character. It's funny, but at the same time, I talk, like I say, all things hoops from a hooper's perspective. So I've played at basketball my whole life, played it through college, and I just I talk differently than just stats and what I see on paper. It's more like, hey, this is what happens in the locker room. And so, it's just really, you guys know the YouTube world, when you have those longer average view durations and stuff, it can just really pick up videos. And so just building the character, man.
Yeah, and then 6 weeks later, man, I think you're closing in on 600 or 700,000 views, man. You got but you got monetized probably like 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah,
you kind of taking the genre by storm, bro.
Yep.
Just
going in having that character.
Cool. Kareem, now we've been tight. We've been homies for over about a year now, man. Been talking about having you on, but I was like, you know what, Kareem, I gotta have you on. It's gotta be something special, man. I can't just have Kareem, me and Kareem talking. We've heard that already. I've been on your channel a couple of times or whatever. I said I gotta do something special, man, because I really want to do something special that was geared to your strong suit, which is, man, the NBA. You've been following it a long time. You play ball, man. Let us know about your background, bro. Your background before you came to YouTube, as far as basketball and the NBA.
Basically, my background come far. I played ball, played AAU ball, played against a lot of guys who's in the NBA. Like when we played AAU, I played against Damon Bailey, Allen Henderson, Aaron McKee. A lot of guys. I'm from New York. Been watching diehard Laker fans since the 80s. I grew up. I got a personal friend that I grew up that worked in the NBA office for over 25 years. I think 26 years now, I believe. So he gave me some little inside tips what's going on. And what made me go to YouTube, I used to watch a lot of other people's channels and comment, and a lot of times they didn't respond to my comments. So you want to get heard.
Right.
They respond. So I played with it. I ain't take it serious at all. I just started taking it serious. I was just uploading, but now I'm more into it because of the people, and so I like to really be fair on players. I'm real detailed in players' games, and I'm my strong suit like a GM, like dissecting trades and being realistic for both teams. So that's my strong suit, and that's why I think when people connect with me on the channel, because they see my insight and how deep I go far as evaluating players.
Right. You know what? I didn't tell you guys, but that's why, because I'm a fan of everybody that's on the panel. My main man LOE, the Kareem Report, and the NBA White Guy, but specifically my two guys at the bottom, because I respect your knowledge. I mean, you could watch people and then you could tell they know what they're talking about. You could tell they have background and actually have actual experience, about what they're talking about in the game of basketball. So specifically, that's why I wanted to have you guys on, because in the previous shows, my mom calling me. We didn't really delve too deep into the lineups or the rosters for the Lakers, because that's not really my strong suit. But I know you guys will be able to, with your help, we'll be able to dig into the Lakers roster, kind of analyze it. LeBron's mini camp has started today, so what we have is look like this is what we're going to be rolling with. So that's why I drafted you guys to come on. I appreciate you coming on, man. We can go ahead and get this puppy started. So like I was just saying, man, I guess this off season is pretty much over. LeBron's mini camp is starting today. We have media day and training camp starting next week. Kareem, I'm gonna go with you first, man. I want to ask you, bro, do you feel that do you look at this offseason as a failure by the Lakers front office, specifically Rob Pelinka, because he didn't pull off a big trade like a lot of people were expecting, and I know a lot of Laker fans not really happy with him right now. So, do you consider it to be a failure?
No, I don't think it's a failure, because see, what a lot of people missing the point is the Rob Pelinka's doing what's right for the Lakers and doing what's right for him, because the Lakers might not be his last stop. So as a general manager, you got to make the right deal. You can't just make a deal just to make a deal. Now, as we can see, look what Bogdanovich just went for. But they asked the Lakers for 2 unprotected first-round picks. So people double talk a lot. Now, had he done the two unprotected first-round pick, and a year or 2 later it come back and bite us, people were saying Rob is stupid. I think he did the right thing. I told you guys, I did a video, said Bogdanovich no team was giving up a first-round pick for him. I said it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got source saying no team giving up a first-round pick for him. And so is Clarkson and them. First-round picks is more valuable now than it ever been. Like before, It's like nobody really cares much. Now that these younger players can produce quicker, because the NBA game's not physical. So now you could come in. Before, you had to physically be ready. Now you can come right in and play. Look at a guy like Bones Highland. Bones Highland came right in with the Nuggets, came in and nobody attacked him physically. So he's able to play in this league, being he's not physically strong at all, and he's able to be productive. So I applaud Rob for sticking to his guns. I think a lot of the deals was bad. I think that he should have picked up a little taller wings in far as the free agency, like bigger wings. But other than far as making any moves, nobody will never trade 2 unprotected first-round pick, even a 1 unprotected first-round pick on role players. If you look at it, it's always protection. Like I said earlier, with the Brooklyn Nets, showed people if you don't put protection, come back and bite you. They didn't put protection. And on the Portland Trail Blazers, it turned out to be Damian Lillard. They traded him for Gerald Wallace. That was a bad deal. And for old guys like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and that deal turned out to be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. When you a superstar, Kevin Durant, unprotect them picks. But role players and old guys that's on the decline, you got to put protection on them.
Right.
I don't have a problem with Rob.
Right. What you think about it, Jackson?
So, and this is what I love too, because I don't get too deep into the weeds on the picks and if it works or not. I love evaluating players and chemistry. So hearing Kareem's, on that is awesome. But I was thinking about this today. Here's the exact thing, because all of our YouTube channels, we get killed in the comments because everybody wants those picks gone today. Like, Get rid of the picks. I don't give a crap about the picks. Just get rid of them and get somebody new. But when you slap on the general manager hat and you realize, if you look back, at what the Lakers have done, I believe it's Jesse Buss who's really in with the drafting. Dude, they have drafted really freaking well. So those picks that, Kareem talks about, you got to realize that, unprotected. That's why Danny Ainge wanted them so bad. But they're 5 years out and 7 years out. Like, hopefully LeBron's still playing 5 years from now, but I doubt it's going to be with the Lakers. He's going to go wherever Bronny goes. So they've got to be able to have some kind of draft, capital to not only get some young studs, but to entice other free agents in the future to come play for the Lakers, because they're going to be a dumpster fire, right? So I hate it, saying it, but LeBron got that extension. And then after that, he's probably just 1 year contracts. So they are protecting their future. And the last thing you have to notice is that, hey, we went all in to get you, LeBron, and get Anthony Davis and get your boy Westbrook. So you roll with what you got. This is your decision. Yeah. And we've seen them in the playoffs. They're nasty if they're healthy. But yeah, as a general manager wearing that hat, you have to openly admit, yeah, they did the right thing.
Right. What's your thoughts on it, LOE?
I agree. I agree with both Kareem and Jackson. And especially Kareem when he said, he applauds Rob for standing on the square.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with that too, because Rob obviously felt that neither of these deals were going to make us that much more of a contender, right? Their role players coming in, yeah, they were going to help, they were going to contribute, but if they really felt deep down, if Rob really felt deep down, Bogdanovich and those guys, they weren't going to, catapult us up to the top of the West, then why do it? If it's just going to take it from a 7 seed to a 6 seed, for what? Why do that? And then also, by keeping the picks, it's not even just for 5 and 7 years. You never know what could happen during the course of the year. That stuff could blow up in Brooklyn, and Kyrie could become available come trade deadline.
Yep.
Do this deal. There's no way you could do that deal, right? Or somebody else. You never know, man. These NBA guys, they'll turn real fast, on the organization. So you want to keep yourself in position. So if giving up those picks weren't going to catapult you up for Kyrie, yeah, that was going to make a big difference. But we don't know what Miles Turner or Bogdanovich or these cats was going to do. So I applaud Rob as well. The more you think about it, and and it's just the league's not going to come and punk the Lakers, man. We're the Lakers. You're not going to punk us, man. You're not going to do that. So stand strong and let them know. It's Lakers versus the NBA. I guess let's run it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I kind of think, and I know Kareem, he's been preaching this all day, but I kind of think Rob gets a lot of unfair criticism, man, because he could have very easily panicked at the trade deadline last season. There weren't a lot of deals out there for the Lakers, but people were hollering and screaming for a deal. Russ wasn't working. I was hollering and screaming too. But and they wanted him to trade for John Wall. Right. I mean, so what if Rob would have panicked back then and traded Russ for John Wall and probably would have had to give a pick or whatever? Then we wouldn't be in the position that we were this offseason, where we still had Russ, we still had both picks, and we wouldn't have been, however you want to say it, in the running for Kyrie. It just wouldn't have happened because we wouldn't have even had the assets. So I just feel like he gets a lot of unfair criticism, man. I agree with what you said, Jackson. The Lakers probably feel, hey, we sacrificed to get you. We let go a lot of good players, cut a lot of salary to bring LeBron in. We traded half the team away to get AD, and we traded all our depth to bring in Russ. So it's like, I think the Lakers front office was just kind of like, that's it. No more sacrifice. We have what we have, and then it's pretty much going to be a sink or swim for whoever we got on the team now, man. So I think we're all kind of in agreement, man, that the Lakers are probably at this point better off standing pat rather than playing that high excessive Lakers tax for some players that weren't going to really make that big of a difference, man. Go ahead, LOE.
All right, so let's move on. Another question for you boys. So obviously it looks like the Lakers are going to play a lot of small ball this year, right? We're back to that. Obviously we got Pat Bev. You guys know the names: Pat Bev, Schroeder, Russ, and Kendrick Nunn. Other than those guys, we don't have any big guys, right? You got LeBron behind him, but you got Wendy Gabriel. You've got
JTA.
Troy Brown, and JTA, right? But those are some smaller guys. So that being said, we're going to play some small ball this year. Do you guys feel that this roster can work in Darvin Ham's 4-in, 1-out system? And 4-out, 1-in system. How you guys feel about that? Will this and also if you guys want to explain, you guys are basketball guys. If you want to explain how that system works a little bit for our fans and for our viewers, and do you guys feel that it will work with this roster?
Yeah, so I actually did an entire video breaking this down because I broke down a bunch of the Bucks footage, and it works well. If you noticed, what they started doing was Giannis brings that ball down, so now you're bringing out the biggest and the best defender, and it creates what it does is it creates a lot of space in the center. So the frustration with the Lakers the last 2 years, what makes you just scream at the TV is they just stand. Man, it is nothing but standing still, and I can't even believe that is a system in the the NBA. And obviously they were running the hook. It was just the wrong personnel, but the whole entire career of LeBron James has been getting to the middle and kicking, and you got to have space to do that. So one, obviously with a lack of shooters, I talk about this, in the locker room, you're given a report on the other team and tendencies, right? And if they're, they average 7 points a game, you're not really worried about them shooting, so you can sag off of them. And that's what happened to the Lakers last year. But when you're moving and cutting, it's almost unguardable, right? And what it does is it makes the defenders' heads at least turn and spin, so they're not always focused straight forward. So the 4-out, 1-in, what they're going to be doing is obviously you have 2 wings, 2 corners, and the dunker spot, which everybody thinks is a big man. It's not. It's actually, it can be anybody. So you can really put anybody in that spot. It might be somewhere where you put like a Kendrick Nunn, right, who's moving, shaking, and coming off of screens for jump shots, right? But it also makes your defense respect that. I did a poll on my channel. Over 1,000 people voted for, the backcourt you want to see. And over 45% of people said Schroeder and Beverly actually would be their favorite. So, I mean, now you have tenacious defense, but you really, have a lack of shooting. I think Nunn is a guy that, can stretch that floor out. He shoots great from straightaway, whereas most players in the NBA shoot very good from the corners, straightaway shooters. So that 4-out, 1-in system is going to be where they dribble towards somebody and they're cutting, or passing to that person and cutting. So there should be a lot more movement, which will open up, back doors and open shooters.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree with him. He broke down the system. I just break down the play. I voted on his channel. I went to his channel and I voted. As far as I ain't look at it as starting, but to me, that I would like to see is Dennis Schroeder and Pat Bev. So I think aggressively, like, they both have this mentality, they can pick you up early. And when they on their job, they can really cause havoc. Now, if the shooting guard is not a ball handler, Pat Bev going to go get that. And then if you have the 2 shot blockers back there, this is why I was so much kind of wanted Miles Turner so bad. Because if you put Schroeder and Pat Bev and have AD and Turner, see, they not the shot blockers. Damon Jones and Thomas Bryant not the shot blocker. Turner is.
Right.
AD do cover a lot of ground. So I really want to see that. I think they scrappy. They both short, but like I said, in today's NBA, nobody takes advantage of the size like they used to. So Pat Bev, we see him guard Durant. We see him guard LeBron. So him guard and shooting guard, him guard and
Luka. Well, tried. Tried.
So him guarding someone 6'5", 6'6" at the 2, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. So I think it could work. I think it could work. Now the only thing is the minutes. I think that's gonna be an issue, because now if you look at the guards. I think you got to kind of play all 4 of them. The guards, that's the point guards, kinda. If you're gonna go there, it's hard to bench one of them.
Yep.
Then you got Lonnie Walker that you brought in, that super talented. Then you got Brown, Reeves.
I'm high on Reeves too.
So you got a lot of guys that somebody, it's gonna be maybe 2 people out that them swing positions ain't gonna really see no minutes.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
that's gonna be tough because these guys are playing for contracts too, man.
They're
Yeah,
all
there's-
playing for contract.
yeah, basically everybody outside LeBron and AD, right? Everybody's pretty much paying for a contract. You know, I'm glad you guys brought that up, Kareem and Jackson, because I was kind of concerned. I kind of like Kareem's um, backcourt that he voted for, but you know, as a fan, you know, I hear people say, well, you know, those guys are probably going to be too small, but you guys are saying that no, it probably won't make that much of a difference. And then plus, we got so many other guys coming in that are bigger. They could sub them in or whatever. You know, it just kind of depends on what what the matchups are or whatever.
And
So
that's where the system has to change for the players, right? So I've played on teams in college where we didn't have the height, right? And I was, you know, early mid, you know, 2000s, whatever, when post game was still there. So the game plan has to change to where you're leveraging, you know, that shorter roster and the speed. And the funny thing is, you look at an Anthony Davis, he's 6'11", but 2020, like bubble AD, who was the first guy down the court every time? He was. That lob pass 90 feet to him for the easy dunk. So he's a guy who can move up and down. And if you have these smaller dudes who play very aggressively, they're going to get their hands on a lot of the balls, which that's why I love Austin Reeves too. I watch the small things, not the stat sheet. Like, he got his hand on a lot of balls. He causes a lot of turnovers and the fast breaks. So that's where, you know, you don't have to 100% rely on an offense if you can, you know, work it on the defensive end, but the buy-in has to be there. Like, they got to buy in. They totally lost it last year, and they have no chance if they don't buy in.
Right. Yeah, it could be a sticky situation. We have to see what happens in training camp. See what the word is once training camp starts. So we'll move on to roster evaluation now. It's kind of strange to me, man, because it kind of looks like it's almost like a replay of last year. You know, we didn't have a lot of size last year starting the season off, man, and that was probably part of the issue that we had. We had a lot of guys, man, playing out of position because of the injuries. A lot of guys probably playing more minutes, like Melo, out of position than what they should have been. So let's talk about Jackson. Let's talk about the front court, man. We're kind of thin, you know, outside of LeBron and AD. How do you feel about the Lakers front court?
So when I watched Damian Jones on his little 10-day contracts, and I know Thomas Bryant's a little bit more of like the flat, and he's got a bigger name and reputation. But I mean, obviously, if you look at his past 5-6 seasons, he's not healthy either. I mean, he's always hurt, but he is a great player. And I actually looked at some of his stats from the past few years, and like a straightaway shooter from three, he shoots very solid. So a guy who can stretch it. But Damian Jones gives me that small reminder of like a JaVale McGee. I miss JaVale McGee more than anything. Like, that dude is so good, not only on the court, getting all those blocks, the dirty play, whatever. He's just so pivotal on the bench. And I don't know if Damian Jones has that bench role, but he is so long and length, like super sneaky lengthy. And so, you know, you talk about rim protector, and with the, you know, Turner, yes, he's a beast. But Damian Jones, very lanky, super young, can stay healthy. I'm a big fan of him. And that's just kind of my thing, is if you're going to, you know, really move Anthony Davis to this 4 position, again, a 4 out 1 in, it's not like they're really going to have to bang down low a lot. It's going to be a lot more movement on the ball. But Damian Jones is a guy that I'm like super high on. And those little brief moments I saw him, it was cool to see how many blocks he could get. He runs down the court. He can press the fast breaks. So, you know, I usually look at guys like that on teams with LeBron, who are usually trying to push tempo, you know?
Yeah. You know what? I think Laker fans, man, when we saw Damian Jones a couple years ago, I believe he had a couple 10-day contracts or the COVID contracts or whatever it was. The guy did everything the Lakers asked for of them. You know, block shots, caught lobs, rebounded. There was no issue. And then we had to let him go to get Andre Drummond. And then San Francisco, who was it? The Queens, you know, when signed him to 2 years or whatever it was. But Laker Nation, I believe we were extremely happy about Damian Jones, and then he had to go. So I kind of feel like you do, man. I'm happy to see him back. He was one of the first guys that the Lakers actually signed. I think when free agency started, and he's the only one that got multiple years.
Yep.
How you feel about JTA, who we got from the world champs?
So my personal opinion of it, like he's a great hustler and he is that mid-size wing, but he didn't make a 7-8 man rotation, in the playoffs. And you're like, well, it's the Warriors. Well, it's like, well, that's our competition, So I'm excited to watch him. I didn't get to see him much last year because his minutes were it was more of a regular season minute, but come playoffs, you didn't see him, period. So I don't have a huge opinion on him as of right now. Maybe, Kareem does more, but he's a guy who didn't make a rotation. So it just, maybe he makes ours and it just fits our system better. But,
right.
If he's not making that rotation and that's our competition, it's just another signing to me.
Yeah. It seems once again, man, that the front court is pretty thin. It's pretty thin, man. And and maybe I'm pretty sure they're saving that 15 roster spot. It's got to go to somebody over 6'7", man. The way this team is currently constructed, it's got to go to somebody over 6'7". That's just my opinion. We'll wait and see.
But JTA, but JTA, he, like he said, just to me, another guy. But I think he do bring something different that the Lakers don't have: the hustle. He get the 50-50 balls. I think he do that, and like he run hard on a fast break. So I think he will have some effect there. But I don't really see him really getting any minutes unless he play real well, and we really need a taller guy out there. And I think that to see the difference between the shooting guards and the small forward, the guys that play the three, you kind of need some size on them because they play kind of big. Like they got more like unstoppable shots, like the Brandon Ingram, the Jason Tatum, the Paul George, the Kevin Durant. You cannot really you got to put some size on them. They're not going to beat you physically where, you may have to double, but you're going to need a hand. They play big. Like them guys there, they're getting their shots off. So with a little guy on them, they would abuse them. Like Kevin Durant found the way and he destroyed Patrick Beverly. He wasn't physically, he didn't do it, but it's an easy pull-up. And them guys got good mid-range. Brandon Ingram is a good mid-range jump shot. Jason Tatum, Paul George. So them guys will kill you. I think so now, if LeBron James out the game, I don't think you're going to get by with playing 6'4", 6'5" guys on them. So that's why I think that JTA might have to use him a little more in the stretch against those type of matchup because he got the long arms, he's athletic. I think he will probably suit more for those type of guys there.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. He could with JTA, you could pretty much switch everything. You got guys who could switch. As opposed to, what is Schroeder, 6'1"?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't switch that stuff, man. So I think it's gonna be a lot of pressure on AD, man. AD is gonna have to cover up a lot of what we lack, in the size, So we'll see. But hey, man, we've seen it before, right? We've seen it.
It's going to be tough. That's a good point you brought up, LOE. That's going to put a lot of pressure on AD, and I think Thomas Bryant as well, and DJ, because we're going to need those guys to stay healthy, bro. If any one of those guys go down for extended amount of time, we're going to be right back where we were last season, bro. And I, for one, it worked against what was that, Denver? The first time, I think Denver, the first game we saw LeBron playing center. I don't want to see that again. That wasn't a good idea, bro. Let's not do that again. So now the Lakers kind of find themselves in a similar situation, man. But I guess we're gonna have to see, man. Maybe that might give them an excuse to bring up Jay Huff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about too. Yeah, Huff is another player. In my comment sections, everybody talks about him. They love to see Huff come up.
Yeah, Vegas League and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing, but come up to the big show, that's a little bit different. Well, we'll see. Kareem, we got like 30 guards. So give me your thoughts and your evaluation on the Lakers backcourt.
I think they're good as far as guards, but I just think it's so many of them. because technically, if you want to say guards for the guard position, we technically have maybe like 7 guys. If you count Christie, I don't think Christie really gonna play, but you say the 4 legitimate point guards, the Troy Browns, the Lonnie Walker, and Austin Reeves. That's 7 guys right there. And then if you want to count Max Christie, that's 8. 8 that's legitimate guards, like they natural position. I think that's our strongest, best talent we have. We're strong in the guard position. But I just think that it's going to be too much to me imbalance. I don't like the balance of the roster. That's my biggest thing. We have really nothing up front, but I kind of like Wendell Gabriel as a sleeper. See, people ain't looking at him, but he rebound, he runs the floor hard. He do a lot of things. He's getting better and better. So that's what you want to see. He's getting better. So he may have a role to be able to play some backup four because we definitely get small. Like I agree with Lakers or everything said. That front court has to. When a small team like that, they really got to play. And back to what NBA white guy. The thing is, what he said about JaVale McGee, I've been screaming to JaVale McGee for the longest. JaVale McGee is a very underrated player. He do a lot of damage in a little bit of minutes. And I think that he's truly missed. And I think we definitely have to, somebody got to play that role. Because him and AD was real good together.
Right. And I think the short time that DJ was with the Lakers, not the other DJ, but Damian Jones, he worked perfect. He worked perfect with LeBron and AD. And like I said, that's why I think a lot of people are happy to see him back. The LOE, what you think about the backcourt, man?
I mean, I'm right there with Kareem, and we're loaded. I can tell you this is a fact. The Lakers have the best point guard rotation in the NBA. That's a fact, man. We are loaded.
Right.
You talk about first team, second team, third team. We got an all-star team when it comes to point guards. I don't know how well that's going to correlate, to our success on the court, but we'll see. But yeah, he's been screaming, man. That's our strong suit, and I'm really interested to see what Darvin Ham can put together. Just like Jackson said as well, you gotta cater that system to your players, right? You can run that system, but you're gonna have to. I mean, obviously, we don't have the shooters, right? I saw Elder say that over there in the chat. We don't have the shooters, but with a guy like we keep talking about DJ, he can stretch the floor vertically, right? So you can't stretch it out to the perimeter, but that vertical stretch works, because you go back to 2020, the Lakers didn't necessarily, especially during the season, it got better. It kind of clicked in the bubble in the playoffs, but during the season, we weren't a top 3-point shooting team, but we were able to stretch the floor vertically. So it kind of balanced things out a little bit, with JaVale McGee being able to do what he did and Dwight. So you got DJ, he can do that, stretch the floor like JaVale did. So I'm excited. But you asked me about the backcourt, right? We're strong there. And also like Kareem said, somebody's going to be the odd man out. I mean, because I know he said you got to try to play all these guys, but I just don't see how you do it. Because you still got Austin Reeves. He's going to demand minutes, like Jackson said. He's excited. I'm excited about Austin Reeves as well. I think he really made a jump. You got all these young guys coming in, but Austin Reeves, like, don't forget about me. They're talking about he's in for the starting spot. He wants a starting spot. So we'll see, man. Somebody's gonna be X'd out, man. And that's the thing I'm excited to see about him. It's gonna be very competitive. Practices are gonna be competitive. Training camp's gonna be competitive. He's gonna play the best man out there, on all facets. You got to play defense and fit. You got to knock down open shots, when you get them. And if not, next man up. So that's one thing I'm excited about. We actually got last year, we didn't have legit NBA guys, right? You're playing like Stanley Johnson or some of these other guys. This year, at least, you got these guys are NBA guys, so we can really see go to the next man if it don't work.
Right. I think what the Lakers desperately need this year is to have some of these guys like that we signed in the offseason, whatever, man. We need at least 2 or 3 of these guys to really step up and have good seasons, man. Because if we don't, we could very quickly find ourselves in a sticky situation, man. like we mentioned before, all these guys are going to be playing for contracts, with the exception of LeBron and AD and I guess DJ. Which one of those guys do you think, Jackson, that will probably have a surprising season? Troy Brown Jr., Lonnie Walker. Which one of those guys, do you think will probably have a good breakout season?
I mean, the one dude that I keep talking about that they signed was, DJ. You keep talking about. I've been the highest on him. I talk about him all the time. But Lonnie Walker's another guy who's super athletic, like crazy bounce, and he's got like a 6'11" wingspan. So, a lot of times when you're playing defense, you can alter shots, or at least get hands and face, but it's also, deflection. So Lonnie Walker's a guy that I'm kind of excited to see his fit in the Lakers. But, I didn't get the chance with the backcourt. And I really wanted to hone in on this because, people talk about Nunn and they know he can shoot. But if you watch 2020 Nunn, like that was the most ascending player in the NBA. He was one of the scariest point guard. I remember in the bubble watching that, and you got Jimmy Buckets on the Heat and stuff, and Tyler Hero was banging out, but Nunn was that dude. He dropped 30 on the Lakers with like 7 threes. He is a walking bucket, and he can also attack the rim. In my channel, I always call him the baby Kyrie. Like, he's not near as good as Kyrie, but he can create his own shots. He can score from anywhere. He's going to stretch defenses, and he's going to demand a lot of attention on that defensive end. So, the rumblings now is like, is he healthy? Is he ready? I don't know, but that guy I'm really excited to see. But it's going to boil down to 2 things. And, LOE was just talking about it. So every time we would come, college, it's the next season and you hit training camp, there's a few things that happen. First of all, you can work out all summer, but there's nothing like playing basketball. So you're going to see little aches and pains. And with these older dudes, it'll be interesting to see, who's taking a day off here and there right out of the gate. Second of all, there's 4 dudes fighting for a starting position. So it's going to get insane. I played through these. This is where you absolutely battled. You're going to have tougher times in these practices than you will in the game. And there's going to be just knockdown, drag out fights. And if these 2 starters who they, get named starters, maybe it's Pat Bev and Westbrook, and they roll together, they can play together. I'm telling you right now, you can hate each other as much as you want on opposite teams. But as soon as you wear the same jersey, you're boys. And so there's going to have to be a major acceptance of role players this year. It's the only way the Lakers are going to be successful, period. That is it. There's going to be some players who just say, you know what, I'm cool coming off the bench, and I'm going to go out there and give minutes. And if it's Westbrook, he better do it. But this is 4 strong, hard-headed dudes who want to start. Like you mentioned, they're NBA players. So this is where I see the biggest hiccup in the Lakers organization is those starting spots and not accepting roles. And that's what causes the chemistry issues, the not talking issues. If you look at every major championship team, they're tight as glue, dude. They hang out every single day. They are very tight. That 2020 bubble run, those dudes were freaking hyped, man. It was so exciting to see. So that's kind of my take on what I really feel, for the backcourt. If we need shooting desperately, it's got to be Nunn. If we need a little height, it's got to be Reeves. He's got to get minutes. Maybe this dude Cole Swider comes up. He's 6'9". He could light it up. I don't know, if he can do that or not. But we got to get some height and we got to get some role players for sure.
Yeah, that's one thing I remember about 2020, man. Even like I said, the reports coming out of training camp, it seemed like we're all on one page.
Yep.
And from the very beginning, everybody knew their roles.
Yep.
They accepted them. And that's why that team was able to take off, man. That team, that was a team Rob threw together at the last minute, basically because we were waiting for Kawhi. But he had a backup plan. He had Danny Green waiting, he had Boogie waiting, and he threw it all together, and it worked. And they took off. And part of that, the big part of that was the chemistry they developed right in the beginning, and then they took off. Is this team going to be able to do that? I guess we have to wait and see, man. But
that's what we're going to see in training camp because it's going to get competitive. Darvin Ham's an old school coach. So with Frank Vogel, he came in and he let these players kind of walk on him. And Westbrook, we paid big money for him, so he's just starting. I think Ham's almost playing more of this like college coach role. Like, go out and earn it. It's your spot right now, but go. Whoever earns it, earns it. And if he can get that respect in the locker room, Coach Hant, because he has to get the respect first of all. That's what's going to make the success of the season.
Right. Kareem, I want you to give me your Lakers, as the roster currently stands right now. Give me your Lakers starting five and kind of give me your ideology behind it, why you want these five guys to start.
At center, Thomas Bryant. I think Thomas Bryant, to go to your question, I didn't get the answer about the Lakers that can make an impact. I say Thomas Bryant. When you watch Thomas Bryant play, he runs the floor hard and he constantly moving. I think with LeBron James, he's going to get a lot of easy layups, dunks. Even with AD, may cause some double team. Thomas Bryant works hard, nonstop running. He runs the break hard. So I think he's going to get a lot of bunnies. And I think that his outside shooting, I like Damon Jones' defense better. But Thomas Bryant, I just think he's going to get a lot of gimmies. So I say Thomas Bryant, AD, Bron. You got to put Westbrook in there, and maybe Westbrook and Nunn. I say Westbrook and Kendrick Nunn. And the reason why I said that, because I think Pat Bev and Dennis Schroeder, I think them guys could give you more of a lift coming off the bench. Then that's why I said I'll pick Nunn and Westbrook. Because them guys, I think, come off the bench, they can get it done for you. Because the bench is game changers. Pat Bev with his antics, and Dennis Schroeder kind of got little antics with him. So that's why I said I think Nunn and Westbrook, because they bigger, and then Nunn, like he was saying earlier, Nunn outside shooting, his scoring ability. That's why I say that. That's my starting five.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jackson?
So when it comes to hoops, man, it's like the starting five isn't as important as the finishing five. So really, that starting five, I would love to see Damian Jones in there just for that big man presence of blocking shots. I think Thomas Bryant's great too. And when you say run the court, if we get a healthy AD, that's what he specializes in. Him and Braun had that connection. They did it multiple times every game. But I don't think you could go wrong with either one of them at the five. But then it's an obvious, Braun, AD, and then I love having, like he said, he mixed up the guards perfectly. You got to have one that can kind of at least score and one that can play the tenacious defense. If you have both tenacious defenders, the Schroeder and the Beverleys, it's great. It's going to pester some teams, but you're not really threatened by them scoring a lot. I know Schroeder can get some buckets, but that's a guy that now, again, people talk about the shooting percentage of Patrick Beverley at like 41% from three. But if you look at it, he's never averaged more than 7-8 points. So again, when you're on the other team and you're looking at scouting reports and he averages 7 points, he may give you 27 that night, but it's a fluke. Like most nights, he's going to give you 3, 4, 5 points, maybe 8, 9, 10. So you got to switch that up. So I really love seeing a healthy Nunn in the starting lineup. This is a guy who's going to get a lot of points. That worked very well with LeBron James having Kyrie, who could create his own shot. That gets so much pressure off of LeBron. He's not always doubled. You've got to watch that guy. So, and with that, it's a coin flip. Give me Schroeder or Patrick Beverley, but I like Nunn for the scoring. Beverley or Schroeder right there. Then your Braun, AD, and DJ.
What about you, LOE?
Oh, I like I'm gonna go with Kareem. I like Thomas Bryant at the center, just because he can stretch the floor. But DJ, I mean, either or, man. I think it's gonna come down with those two guys. Whoever takes it in camp. I mean, I like either direction you go, but personally, right now, I'll throw in Thomas Bryant just because he can stretch the floor a bit. Of course, AD, LeBron, and then at point guard, I'll start Pat Bev for his defense. Well, I don't know, because I think right now I'm leaning a little more towards Austin Reeves, because I think he's gonna make a big jump. I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people this year, man. So I'm leaning towards starting Reeves. So if I'm doing that, then I don't know who I'm putting at that point guard, man. I said it a couple times. I might just start Russ, just ceremoniously, right? We start him, and then you kind of take him out after a couple minutes and have him run with the second unit. So I'll probably do that. But like Jackson mentioned, that closing lineup, that's much more important when it comes down to that. And then you guys mentioned Nunn. To me, I think we're loaded, man. We got a loaded team. If Nunn is healthy and Nunn can go, then yeah, maybe Nunn is in there. But it's kind of hard. I got to really sit down and really think about it. And I guess after watch some preseason games, then I could really kind of evaluate this and throw out a solid lineup with in the backcourt particularly. The front court, I think that's pretty much made. I guess you could throw DJ there, but I think Thomas Bryant, he'll get that spot. Also, you go back to remember Thomas Bryant? He was considered in the Celtics, and he kind of told the Celtics no to come to the Lakers. I don't know, the Lakers probably told him, you got an opportunity to, start here, obviously. So we'll see who goes in and takes it.
Yeah, we'll see. Jackson, what are the odds, do you think, of Russell Westbrook accepting a bench role for the Lakers, not starting? How do you think he's going to accept that?
0. And I forgot to mention it in my starting 5. If we could convince Westbrook to come off the bench and play the second team unit, dribble the air out of the ball and be Russ, like triple double Russ, it would be the greatest role of all time. Like, he would go kill. I just don't see him doing that. We saw it all last season. He doesn't want to change. He's hard-headed. I see this season he's already working on tweaking his shot. Doesn't matter. As soon as you start missing game time, your head starts going crazy. You go back to your original shot. You're trying to figure stuff out. But I think there's almost a 0% chance that he wants to come off the bench. But if he did, it would be electric, I think he would have a really big rebound to his career and respect and almost run that kind of sixth man role. He could finish games if he's hot and he's feeling it too. Coming off that bench, but that second unit and running it, he would be electric out there.
Kareem, any chance, Kareem, that Russ would humble himself, man, and come off the bench? In your opinion?
I don't see it right now because I think that he feel he's better than all them guys. That's
in the league.
It's hard to convince a guy, and none of these guys showed that they better than him. So that I don't think that he would accept it. And I agree with he said. That's a good point. Where he said you change your shot. Like people talk about Ben Simmons, I argue people all the time. It looks all good in practice, but when it start missing in games, it's a big difference. Like I tell people, like you said earlier, I don't care what somebody did in summer league. I don't care what somebody doing in practice. It's a big difference. The competition, who you doing against, the competition is. So, like he said, his jump shot. That's why I ain't do no videos about his new jump shot because in the game it's going to change. So
I just did a video on it because it won't work. He tried changing it last season, and I've been there. Sorry, my kids are screaming, but I've been there before, and actually I did it in college where I changed my free throw shot, and I was wet all summer. But in the games, when my adrenaline was going, or if I got a little bit more tired, I would miss it a little bit. And next thing you know, it's in my head. And so each one I was changing each time. And if you watched Westbrook last season, when he was shooting it off the backboard and airballing, he was holding that arm up there mechanically. So you could tell he was thinking about mechanics on every shot instead of just being an athlete.
Right. And we're not going to beat this. We're not going to beat a dead horse with this Russ situation, man. His mental space wasn't all together last season, man. We just hope that this season is a different, it's a different story. And he's ready to be a team player, man. I guess the best thing we could do is just hope and keep our fingers crossed, man, because last year it just didn't seem like he was too willing to change. He just wasn't with the program. So with this being a contract season for him, he's got to kind of capitulate a little bit, man. But with a guy like Russ, it just doesn't really seem like he's really too open to being much different, than he was in the past. Before we wrap up, guys, I want to ask you, man, like I said, LeBron's mini camp has already started. I already heard you say, Kareem, I don't think Rob is going to trade anybody between now and training camp.
I said Russ, not anybody. Mainly.
Well, okay,
Russ.
right. He's probably not going to move Russ because all the drama that would start. So given the current roster, LOE, tell me, man, give me your best guess. We're going to do a little bit of predictions. Give me your prediction on what you think the Lakers' best case scenario as far as their record could be, for the end of the season.
Well, you got LeBron, you got AD on the roster. So with those two guys right there alone, if they're healthy, I believe that's still the best, duo in the West for sure. So of course, knock on wood that everyone stays healthy. If so, and these guys buy in, I mean, I could see us possibly dodging that play in and getting up to a 6 seed. I can see that, especially if AD comes out and gives us that top 5 version of AD, top 5 player in NBA version of AD. In particular, defensively, if he's that defensive player of the year type guy, and everybody else gonna follow suit. If he's that, if he's defensive player of the year candidate, then that's going to trickle down to everybody else. So if we could build our identity on defense and then everyone else buys in, plays their role, I could see us getting up to a 6 seed, dodging that play-in tournament.
Right. What you think, Kareem? How many games, man, Kareem, do you think this Laker current roster can win this season?
I'd say maybe like 46, 47, 6 seed. I say about the 6 seed because they're going to be close. I think the top 5 seed may be 50 and above, but the 6 seed I could see around 47 games. I'd see Lakers 6. I don't see them anything closer than that. And like I said, the roster definitely in balance. I think 6 seed is pretty solid. And what's the other question you asked? You said, will we see?
Just how many games they will win?
About 40, 46, 47. 6 seed.
Damn. I think I'm a little bit more optimistic than you guys. What do you think, Jackson?
So there's zero chance that they're going to be at the top of the West, and it's not due to a lack of talent. So what it is again, when you play these younger teams who are hungry, they're just going to give you 150% every night. So that's the one thing that nobody ever factors in. LeBron plays the best version of every team every single night. So he's going to get these teams 150% effort every night. You go to any one of these just trash teams. You can go to the Sacramento Kings. That stadium's going to be full for the Lakers night, right? Any other game, it's going to be empty. So there's just a lot more pressure on these players, which is why I'm big on confident players. I love confidence, right? And that's what, Westbrook, he kind of shook that last season. If you look at them before, the bubble run 2019 when Braun was playing with all the youngins, he had him at a 4th seed until he went down Christmas Day with the groin injury. And those dudes weren't shooters. Those dudes were young, unproven, but he can get people to the right spots if they buy in. That young team was hustling and they were playing hard. So I think easily, if they stay healthy, they can get into this, 6 seed, even play in whatever and get into the playoffs. That's where I see him dangerous because obviously bubble run, we saw it. And everybody wants to write off the next year that they got beat by the Suns. They were toying with the Suns for 2 games. They were playing with them. Like LeBron's doing this salsa. It was game over. They literally were going to sweep the Suns that series.
On a bad ankle.
And AD goes down, and next thing you know, they're trash. And the Suns go all the way to the finals. So, look, this is I get it, man. I've played in these games, and when you play these young, hungry teams who have everything, to prove and nothing to lose, you're gonna lose a lot of games throughout the season. The one thing I hated last season, they lost every single game in overtime, just trash in overtime. So, 1, try and eliminate those, but 2, they've got to bring that effort. I love the Patrick Beverley signing, not for scoring, not for anything other than just getting into these dudes' asses all game long and expecting the best out of them. So I think that's a huge sign just for that reason alone.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic. I think they can win. I think they could, Kareem. I think they could pull out 50 games, bro. Um, but what you said, Jackson, that is true, man. These guys, they're gonna want to beat LeBron every game. And what we do know for a fact is LeBron will beat 38 in about 60 days. And we just know that he can't put the pedal to the metal every game.
Nope,
It's just
he ain't gonna do it till the playoffs.
right, exactly. And he knows he's got to preserve himself and all that kind of stuff for the playoffs, man. So yeah, that's a top 4 team. I don't see it, but I think you guys are right around about the 5th or 6th seed, man. I say about 50 games, but we'll see. We'll see, man. But I told you guys we'd do about an hour. We're right up against it, man. So salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to Straightway Georgia Elder with the $50 super chat. I really appreciate you guys coming on, man. My brother LOE, thanks for helping me out. Jackson, was a pleasure meeting my brother, man. Jackson's a super cool dude, man. I hit him up. He answered right back. He was like, do it. Didn't make any demands or anything like that, man. I appreciate that, bro. I really do.
You get to talk hoops, there's nothing better, right?
Exactly, man. Kareem, as always, man. We talk just about every day, man. Me and LOE talk about every day, and I really appreciate you guys coming through, man. Salute to everybody in the chat.
I want to salute Jackson. I appreciate him coming on. Also, I've been watching him. He's doing good things. I want to salute you, LA. Also, you, LOE. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You passionate. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, it's not like Laker talk, man. Basketball talk in general. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate all you guys that's on this panel, and it's been great. You know what I mean? It's a salute, Elder. Elder, stay supporting, man. I appreciate Elder supporting, and I just think that we all got one goal to the Lakers to win. So that's always a good thing there.
Right. You got any closing remarks, LOE?
Oh man, it's been fun. I'm just happy. I'm here with you guys. Like Kareem said, man, it's crazy how we come together, talk some Lakers basketball. Man, he's all the way there on the East Coast. Of course, me and AC. I don't know where Jackson is.
I'm in Houston now.
Okay, so look at man, we all over the place. LA, Newport, Houston. It's amazing. We could all come together. And just a quick plug. Kareem and Elder show going live as soon as we get off here. So man, everybody, y'all want to keep talking? Let's head over there, man. Let's talk over there.
Right. And I just want to say this one thing, man. YouTube is a great platform. Everybody can get on and do their thing or whatever. One of the reasons why I want to do these series, man, because I see a lot of drama sometimes and beef on YouTube. That's not something I want to be a part of. And I don't think there's no room for it, because even though we're all doing kind of similar content, man, I think there's room for everybody. And that's why I want to do these collabs. There's no competition, because ultimately the people who watch YouTube, you know what I'm saying, they're going to choose who they want to watch, and somebody's going to be on top, and that's just the way it is. But it doesn't mean just because you're not on top, you got to just look down on everybody else, man. So salute to the Kareem Report, salute to Jackson. These guys are much bigger channels, much bigger. Jackson just went right past me, but much bigger platforms, much more views than mine, man. And I appreciate you guys coming down to a little channel like mine and spending an hour with me, man, doing Laker talk. I really appreciate it. Once again, thanks again to LOE for helping me out on the broadcast. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for the Lakers. Anyway, guys, like I always say, this is your boy AC, LA Sports Live. I will wrap with you guys later. Somebody go ahead and hit that outro for me.